the count.
Thank you, Ron. Len?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the council, and good morning again. Thank you for coming in this morning. You know, in the past discussions, it's always been this council's decision to go with the recommendation of the powwow committees. We we support your decisions. We're never want to put in a situation where we're going to tell the powwow committees whether or not they can have powwows or not. So it's good to hear that you guys have come in and made that decision. It's been too long, you know, yes. And it's gonna be good to see the people get back together again. So we support you, and we need to do what we need to do to continue to keep it safe. And as I mentioned before, we would just go along with your decision. So thank you for coming in.
Okay. And then I just had a couple, actually I just had one question. Was it council's decision to confirm that they were going to revise or make an amendment to the powwow budgets for the Arley powwow celebration? Back in 2020, we had requested 60,000. Generally the allocation is like 45,000, but we requested an increase of 60,000. Do you know if that was the consensus to do the increase?
Nori, thank you for bringing that up once again, because that was discussed in the past. And as I recollect, yes, the council did agree that it was going to be the new allocation was going to be 60,000, but I'm unsure if there was a resolution that was passed to that effect that said that. And I believe that was not last year, but the year before when that was agreed upon. Mm-hmm. So if council still is going to move with that, I would support that we would give the 60,000 from last year and this year.
Go ahead, Carol.
Yeah, I was just curious what Len said right there at the end. Did we give money last year? Okay, so what we need to do is just have Jennifer check with Rick to see if it's in the budget at 60, or if we need to appropriate another 15 or whatever the amount is, appropriate up to 60, if that's what the council decides to do. So Jen, are you checking? Yeah, she's checking right now.
Okay.
Well, I'm absolutely excited that, I certainly support having the powwow. And so if it was the vote action you needed, certainly could probably entertain a motion and action. But again, one of the things that we would have to fall back on is our public health servants and recommendations. So given what's going on in the country right now, around the state, around the region, everybody's lifting all their requirements. And so it's pretty safe to say that we're going to follow in those footsteps. So great time to start planning for it, and let's get it going. So
yeah, there's so many people that say that if we need it, they'd be willing more than to help us with it in any way they could. I mean, the people all around Arley, they're more than willing to help if they can, and that's really a positive for us. So we have a small group right now, but they all want to come in and help us. So.
Perfect time as a recruitment tool, Ron. Yep, you get a lot of extra help.
That's right.
Besides your family,
I tell them,
extended family, go beyond that. I think your circle might get a lot bigger. Go ahead, Jimmy.
Yeah, Ron, thank you for coming in with us. Like, I fully support it, and I think I just want to tell you, we need it down there, and we need a powwow here. And I'm glad they're starting to think about them again. You just be careful how you do it, and just let's have one.
We had that little kind of honoring powwow last year, which was nice. It was helpful for the people. It was helpful for me and our committee. And because they said their loved ones would never recognize that they passed on, but we decided to have that little get together, kind of honoring for them, and it went great, and I think we could do a lot better for our thought.
Absolutely. One question that a council representative had earlier this morning was when there's a fire camp, when they use the powwow grounds for fire support, where does that lease money go?
I have no idea, they never did tell us where it went.
I think it goes to the general fund.
Into the general fund, okay. Then it can be reappropriated back out to the RD celebration, okay. Go ahead, Len.
So for the purposes of planning, I would go ahead and make that motion to increase the Elmo and Arlie powwow budget to $60,000.
Motion by Len to increase the Arlie Powwow Committee celebration budget to 60,000, and Elmo also. And is there a second by Jimmy? Second by Jimmy. Any discussion? Yeah, Martin.
I just hope that we make sure with Rick that it's there to use. Thank you.
Any other discussion? All those in favor, show of hands. Unanimous. Anything else we can do for you?
Thank you.
No, that's all we wanted to present, and we just wanted to get the blessing of the tribal council. And we wanted to assure you that we will, whatever the CDC guidelines are, we will continue to follow those guidelines and ensure that anyone that comes will follow the guidelines.
Yeah, my understanding, Monday, there's a walkthrough with maintenance staff.
Yeah, that's been an ongoing issue. We haven't had anything resolved with that. We have met with John Nice and the maintenance, some of the maintenance crew, and we did a complete walkthrough for upgrades, updates that needed to be done to the grounds. And but we have not got we haven't received anything from the maintenance department on, what they plan on doing, or if they have funding available. We just don't know that yet, but they do have a list of everything that needs to be fixed, upgraded, and done at the powwow grounds.
Yeah, we were gonna have a meeting yesterday, but the weather was bad, and so he said he was up there plowing snow, but we are scheduled again for next Monday. And to really go through it again thoroughly again, and make sure that these repairs are made for the safety of the powwow grounds. And that's all I got. All I have.
Len?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the council. Yes, that has been an ongoing issue, or these maintenance issues have been going on for some time now, and we're having the similar problems going on with the Elmo powwow grounds also. What I don't want to see is I don't want to see the powwow committees utilizing their annual allocation to pay for these maintenance. I think the tribes have an obligation to fix those repairs and do what we need to do to make that powwow grounds healthy and safe, for the public.
And that's a blessing
So
that's a blessing from me to
So
hear
we
you-
will
hear you say
relay that to our staff people. and
Thank you.
Making sure that they're following up with these issues, because I know a couple of them, powwow committees have come in year after year and asked, and nothing's been done. Absolutely nothing. So thank you for bringing it to our attention, and we'll address it.
Okay, thank you for your time.
Thank you. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Make that circle bigger. Some volunteers out there.
Yep.
See a couple there in the back room there. Can help you out. Kinds of our legions.
One moment.
Okay, next on our agenda, we have Jocko Valley Cemetery. Good morning. Yes, Wex Lolita. We thought you were leaving, Ron, but I guess you're on multiple circles. Okay.
We're all over Arlie.
What can we do this morning for you?
Can you hear me? All right, good. Happy New Year, by the way, to all of you. Thanks for your hard work. We are here as the Jocko Tribal Cemetery Committee, Lolita Hendrickson, Paula Wooford, and Ron Matt. And we have a little committee in Arlie that we volunteer all our work at the cemetery, and Bear Molitor helps with volunteer work there. And Father Hightower has had some kids from Oregon and all over to help clean up the cemetery every spring. And of course, with COVID, we haven't done that, and we haven't even met because most of our membership is our elders. And so, we got permission to be a group many years ago. And so we've been working with Jordan Thompson, and to have our guidelines and our bylaws approved for the second time. And then he's going to have a, what's it called? Resolution for you all. So, and he'll be on the Zoom meeting. So.
Okay, I see Jordan's on right now. So go ahead, Jordan.
Yeah, Quext Tribal Council. Good to see everyone this morning. Good to see Jocko Valley Cemetery Committee. And so, yeah, as was mentioned, this the group was approved as a board in 2017. And so then I was brought in because for just different support reasons. And as I was looking at tribal council guidelines and policy and resolutions, there's a lot of requirements around a board. And so after talking with the Jocko Valley Cemetery Committee, they agreed that it probably is best to be a committee. And so this really is a transition from a board to a committee, and then bylaws so they can operate their committee smoothly. And that's what the discussion is this morning.
Thank you, Jordan. So I see in our packet, we have your bylaws, and then we also have a resolution, I believe.
I had to email that by
Okay.
itself because Jordan sent it to me after. So can you pull that up, Martin?
I really want to compliment you on volunteering and stepping forward. It's really important that you're doing this, and important for the community. And having you do this is wonderful. So I certainly support with your efforts, and codifying it however we can is a good thing. So go ahead.
Ronnie has volunteered his efforts for years to mow the lawn. And a couple of years ago, the tribal council gave us money to buy a lawnmower. And also we bought wheelbarrow, gas cans, and a couple of cards so that Ronnie would not have to use his own material and gas and everything to do those things. So, and Ronnie knows where everybody's at there. So, you know, it's wonderful. So, and
Thank
Paula does everything on the computer and those, and it's just great to, you know, to have these people as support. So.
Go ahead, Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you guys for coming in. One thing that I'm gonna probably ask council sooner than later to do is hopefully get a similar position created for the Jocko and Mission cemeteries as we do up north. Yeah, I think that that's something that's, some of our tribally owned cemeteries are not the best condition. And so hopefully we can, have that paid through our maintenance department or something. To not only maintain that one, the other one I always forget about is the one I shouldn't, is on Agency Road. That cemetery is probably as important or more than, the one up there. So it's something that, that one usually gets overgrown, and the culture committee, the Sailors Culture Committee was asking about that last summer as well. And I think they were going to try to send some people down, but I really appreciate, you guys taking this on. It's long overdue, and you guys have been doing a great job getting it going. And so with that, I'd make the motion to support the resolution.
Martin has made a motion to approve the resolution, approving the bylaws for the governance of the Jocko Valley Cemetery Committee. And there's a second by Bing. Any further discussion? All those in favor, show of hands. Unanimous.
Cool. Thank you so much.
Yes, go ahead, Bing.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. What's been said about the cemetery up there in RLE, I always tell my brother he's the loneliest man in the country, because he was always up there at the cemetery by himself and visiting graves up there all the time. I said, he's the loneliest man in the valley up there by doing that. But he knows where about everybody's at up there in that cemetery. One thing about him, you ask him where somebody's at, and he'll tell you where they're at up there in that cemetery. And he does do a lot of work, and up there, he's always up there with the lawnmower in the summertime, or doing something else up there with saws or whatnot, and getting some of those lilac bushes out of there and stuff. But they did a lot of work with the lilac bushes. They took a lot of them out, and this looks real good now, I think. And at least you can see in the cemetery now, and I think probably there's a few more might have come out of there yet. If we can have somebody go up there and dig them out of there and take them out and make it look, so you can see everything in there. But they've done a heck of a job. I said over the years, since they've been together, they've done a heck of a job up there. And just recently they had another issue with non-members and stuff going up there, but I believe they had that issue taken care of now, so we don't have to worry about that. But I want to thank them. I want to thank them all for doing what they're doing up there, and it's good to just be able to go up there and walk around and be able to visit those graves and to see who and where is up there, and it's been a long time. I've done that, now at least you can go up there and check some of the places that had those lilac bushes in there, and graves that were inside the lilac bushes and whatnot, and you can see the headstones and the old headstones and stuff in there. It's good to see that. Like I say, I want to thank you people for doing what you did up there, and Bear, he's done a lot of work up there, and I appreciate that. And I commend you guys for your services up there. Thank you.
Yeah, I got one more trip. I gotta go down to Spokane before all the priests stay down there, and they see if they have the kind of original map of the old part of the cemetery. I've been wanting to do that for months or a year now, and I haven't made it yet, but I want to make it down. I want to see if they do have that plat for the old cemetery for the old people that are buried. And I'd like to know that. That's one thing I'd like to post up there on the wall at the church or something, to see where those people are buried there. Who are they? Thank you.
One of the things that we are working on is plotting the graves that are there now. And last summer we worked on just making plots, or, plotting it out by, what was it, 50 or 100 foot squares, so that we can eventually have someone In fact, we got someone the other day that went in there with this thing's called,
GPS.
no, that takes pictures in the air, whatever they are.
Drones.
Drone. And so what we would eventually like to do, and what Ronnie's talking about, is we would have a marquee there that would tell by section who is buried in each section. But the problem that we find is that we don't have markers on a lot of the graves. And so, and we also know that there are graves there that we don't know for sure if they're a grave, but it looks like a grave. And so I think at one time, someone had a machine that actually could tell where a grave was. And that is another goal of ours, is to have one of those go through the area that we're really unfamiliar with and find where there are graves that are unmarked.
Because the humps in the old cemetery are probably from, when they dig the grave, they leave the dirt there and then and so those are, you don't know for sure. And so that would be very effective to find that out. And that's one of the requirements of the guidelines, is that you do have a marker on the grave. And also another thing, that since we've become a committee, I go down and when Ronnie and I usually meet at the cemetery, and not only did we graduate together, now see, we're both in our 70s and we're at the cemetery together, and we'll probably end up there together. So, but we try to keep track of who is buried there. And so our big goal is, just like Paula and Ronnie said, is to find out and map those. So when you go to the cemetery, if you want to see where Chief Charlot's buried, you know right where it's at. And so that's, that's what our main goal is. So.
And one of the things we wanted to mention too about the guidelines, that it is an attachment to our bylaws, is that one of the reasons why the committee was re-established, it's been established and disbanded several times through the years. But one of the things is that it is a tribal cemetery, and we are trying to get the guidelines so that it gives it written in writing who could actually be buried there. And it has come down to, we've had to have one vote where a non-member who didn't fit any of the criteria, and it had to come to a vote of all the committee, and we just couldn't justify that person being buried there. So, it might come to it coming to the council at some point, somebody disagreeing with our guidelines, but we have guidelines in writing and we try to follow those. And like I said, we've only had to vote once.
I think your guidelines are really good. So you're on solid foundation, especially now. So appreciate everything you're doing. If we can help you in the ground sensing radar, sonar, whatever they call it, I would think that would be something you'd want to do for sure.
Sure.
Even if Ronnie's successful getting information, I think you still want to follow up with that.
Yeah.
So yeah, go ahead, Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Our preservation department just got ground penetrating radar equipment. I think it was last year, and there's also actually a class over at SKC that maybe that could just be a training opportunity for them to go and map that out. And I know that we're gonna probably do something similar to the one in St. Ignatius behind the church right there.
Mhm.
And that's the other thing that I know that we've talked about with the records. Some of the records that Ron's talking about could possibly be in St. Louis because they were shipped from Gonzaga to St. Louis for some strange reason. So, we're gonna look into those eventually. I think we're waiting on Deb Hallen's initiative to kind of get that going, but we definitely have some unmarked graves up in St. Ignatius that we want to identify as well. So, Ron, maybe when you're going over there, let us know and we could coordinate and get the other ones, or help you plan a trip or something. So.
Yeah, as soon as the weather gets nice, I want to go over there. I want to talk with Father Ty Tower. Said they might have the records because after all the priests and all the nuns moved away, they must have took them all with them. I think they went to Spokane. That's what they say, but I ain't sure yet, so. But I want to find out about that.
Go ahead, Len.
Mr. Chairman and members of the council, this information that Ronnie is seeking is vital for the cemetery here. So when the time comes, I would support providing him a per diem to make that trip to get that done. So if you just keep us informed on when that's gonna happen.
All right.
Thank you, Martin, for bringing up the college and the preservation office. So please connect with the preservation
Did you
office.
say there's gonna be a class on it? I'd like to attend that class if I could. I mean, this was sitting there if I want, if I could, so.
Yeah, get a hold of the college. I don't remember who, the contact person or who's the instructor over there, but
Yeah,
I know, maybe, Mike Durglow is the one. that-
I talked to him too one day and
Yeah,
he said, told me about that sonar thing that they did in the mission and that's what I really wanted to get involved in, to do that with the Arley Cemetery, Joppa Cemetery, so. It's not the Arley Cemetery, it's Joppa Cemetery.
yeah, check with, Mike Durglow and,
I'll go visit him.
especially right now, I think the college is still offering either a reduced tuition or free tuition right now, so you could definitely take that class.
Yeah.
It could get you right into spring and then you
All right, I appreciate it. Thank you, guys. Thank all of you.
Thank you, Lem Lemch.
Mhm.
I bet if I got Gonzaga basketball tickets for Bing, he'd drive you over.
I tried that once in 20 years. Ago. Thank you. See you there.
Even a Jesuit priest can't get you tickets to the dog pound, huh? Okay. Well, next up, we have legal department, and I think Jim's almost done.
Almost, one more. There you go. Family, you know.
Good morning, Dan.
Hey, good morning, Mr. Chairman, council members. So we have another full update for you today. We'd request executive session for the entire update.
Okay, we'll move into